Hi boys and girls. Today we are going to learn how I can tell time in 5-minute increments. If you remember, last time we talked about how there are 60 minutes in 1 hour. And you also might remember how I went around the entire clock and I showed you that there were 60 notches and each notch represented 1 minute in the hour. If you notice up here on my Judy clock, we have our numbers that helps us know the hour, but also we have off to the side 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. You probably heard Mrs. Harley skip counting by fives. That is a great way to tell time. It's a little more efficient than counting by ones. So today, again, that I can statement is I can tell time in 5-minute increments. So on my Judy clock, these labels on the side really help me to learn my minutes more quickly. I'm sure at home your clock doesn't have that on there. That's okay. In your workbook, you'll notice that there's a clock that you can make that you can use to practice 5-minute increments. What you're going to do today is you're going to just watch Mrs. Harley model for you how I determine my time to the 5-minute interval, and then we'll do a few together. So let's start with this time. All right. So you remember when we are telling time, the first thing we do is we look at that hour hand. Our hour hand is the small hand. It tells us what hour it is. So if I notice that little hand or hour hand is right there, right on my 2. So that tells me it's 2 something. The next place I look is to the long hand, which is the minute hand. If I look, that minute hand is right on the 1. So I can read this clock pretty easily and I can say it is 2:05. Now if I'm going to write out that time and show that, it would look like this. 2:05. You want to make sure that you have that 0 there to hold its spot. 2:05, because it's 5 minutes past the hour. Let's try another one. What if my clock looked like this? So again, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at that small hand, which is the hour hand, and I notice that it's in between my 3 and my 4. So that tells me it's still 3 something. It's pretty close to the 4. So that also tells me that it's much closer to 4 o'clock than it is to 3 o'clock. Now if I look, I have my my minute hand is over here on the 10. So now I can skip count in those 5-minute intervals to figure out how many minutes past the hour is. So I'm going to start up here at the top of my clock and I'm going to skip count by 5s until I get to that minute hand. Watch me. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. So it is 3:50. If I want to write out that time, I would make a 3 followed by my colon. And then I would do 50 for 50 minutes past the hour. So that read 3:50. Let's try another one. Okay, let's try this one. So again, the first thing I'm going to do is look and find my hour hand. My hour hand is that little one. I'm noticing that it's in between the 9 and the 10. Closer to the 9 than the 10. So that tells my brain that it's closer to 9 o'clock than it is to 10 o'clock. Next, I'm going to look at my minute hand, which is that long hand, and I notice that it's on the 3. So now I can skip count by intervals of 5 until I get to the 3. So it's 9:05, 9:10, 9:15. So then I would write 9:15 for 9:15. Another way you can say this time is it's 9:15. Let's try one more. I'm going to make it, and I'm going to give you time to think about it before I give you the answer this time. Take a moment. Look at this one. See if you can figure out the time. So hopefully you looked at the hour hand, which is that small hand first. You should have noticed it was in between the 11 and the 12, so that tells us it is 11 something. Then you should have looked at your minute hand, which is over here on that 9, so you can skip count by 5s. So starting at the top of the clock, this is 11 o'clock, 11:05, 11:10, 11:15, 11:20, 11:25, 11:30, 11:35, and 11:40. So if I wanted to write that time out, I would do an 11, followed by a colon, and then I would write 40 for 11:40. It's 40 minutes after 11 o'clock. Let's just do one more. Are you ready? Let's try this one. This is a tricky one. Look at your hour hand. Where do you notice that it is? Did you say it's almost on the 6, but not quite in the middle? I sure hope you did. That means it's 5 something. Then you should notice that that minute hand is way up here on the 11. So if I was to skip count by 5s, I would say 5:05, 5:10, 5:15, 5:20, 5:25, 5:30, 5:35, 5:40, 5:45, 5:50, and 5:55. So if I was going to write that, I would make a 5, followed by my colon, and then 55 for 55 minutes after the hour. So remember, our I can statement for today was, I can tell time in 5-minute increments. Every hour has 60 minutes in it. First look for the hour hand, it's the small hand. Then count on by 5 until you get to the large hand or the minute hand to determine your time. Have a great day.